welcome to the Yuz Revolution, where we use what we got to get where we need to be. And today I'm with Jimquana.
Hey!
Future doctor. Super senior.
Super! When you pay for your own education, it happens that way.
True. So today we're going to talk about the healing process. Either spiritually, physically, mentally, whatever else you have it.
Okay.
So that's the thing we're going to talk about. So I thought that was fitting for you, definitely.
Yeah, definitely.
So generally speaking, what's the healing process to you?
First, I have to say that, first of all, thank you for the opportunity, and I'm really proud of what you got going on. You're doing your thing.
Thanks.
You asked me what's the healing process to me. It's initially spiritual. I believe that every illness on the planet is spiritual first before it is anything else. I say that all the time, from acne to problems with your feet to, all of those illnesses are first spiritual or astrological.
Mm-hmm.
And then from there we can figure out what's going on. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, my thoughts about healing is that we basically possess like everything that we need to heal ourselves. So, what are your thoughts? Like, how do you think someone could unlock that power to actually heal themselves? Or do you think it's even possible?
I know for a fact that it is. It's definitely possible. First and foremost, believing that you can. Knowing, and that's a very difficult thing because we're taught that you must go to someone.
Yeah, you gotta get them pills.
You got,
pills,
right. But initially, before you go to the doctor, you go to the doctor. Why? Because you already know that something's wrong.
Mm-hmm.
So if you listen to your intuition, you can figure out a lot of things without even having to go. And I would never discredit surgeons or physicians at all. There definitely has a place in removing or amputating or removing a tumor and things of that nature. That's wonderful. But if the spiritual aspect is not healed, the problem will come back. And if it doesn't come back in that form, it will manifest into something else. So first knowing with conviction that if I don't fix this, it's coming back. I can go to the doctors and spend $30,000 on a surgery if I don't have health insurance, or drain my health insurance to take care of this particular illness. But I know that if I don't heal myself within, I will be back. And really, a lot of learning that is just seeing the pattern in your life.
Definitely.
And for me, my thing right now that I'm working on a book, I'm finishing up on fibroids and ovarian cysts, and all of the women that I've known that have interviewed that have had that problem, they go to the doctors, they get the fibroid removed, the cyst removed. 2 years later, they go back, same problem. So you will learn eventually, once you continue to see the pattern, that this is coming back. This is coming back. What is it within me that I need to fix?
Yeah.
So confidence comes from learning, okay, this keeps happening to me, and I'm still doing the same thing. So something else I need to try. And eventually you will end up trying, let me try healing myself on the inside first.
Currently, as you say, you're writing a book. So what sparked your interest in learning about healing?
I was sick, and I noticed a correlation between, initially it was about fibroids, and I was very sick, and I always knew something was wrong. Even as a child, I knew something was wrong. Then my mother also had fibroids. Grandmother also had the same issue, and I noticed a pattern, and I said, well, let me look into this, because if I have a daughter, I would like me to be the last person that has this problem, right? So I started to do research, and then I found that a lot of it has to do with the spiritual explanation is, unfortunately, sexual traumas. That's a very, very, very large part. Sexual trauma, block creativity, all of the things that I've actually experienced myself. I can't speak for my other family members, but I definitely can speak for me and say, that. And everybody I talk to that has fibroids has experienced block creativity and sexual trauma or sexual trauma. So if we can heal ourselves from those things, then the fibroids don't come back. And then sometimes there's also resentment, and we punish ourselves for things, and then that punishment manifests into an illness.
True.
And fibroids can be one of them. So that's how I got initially interested, and then I realized that I'm not the only person going through this. Initially, I had the surgery, and I came across a friend who said, "I have a man that can fix you."
You're probably like, huh?
What are you talking about? And she said, I know somebody, he's an herbalist, he studied in Africa for 20 years, but this is a man who's like this tall, he has no degree, and I'm like, what are you talking about? And she said, well, the thing is, if you do not fix it from the inside, from the spiritual perspective, it will come back or be something else. And I said, whatever. And I got the surgery. And it did not come back, but I did end up having a cyst on my left ovary. So I said, okay, I need to fix this from the inside. I need to spiritually figure out what's going on here. And once I figured that, and it's gone now. So
That's great.
thanks, it's gone, but how could I keep this information to myself? How can I be that selfish and know that what you're going through, you can fix from the inside, spiritually? I can't, I'm naturally not a selfish person, but I couldn't keep that to myself. So that's pretty much how I got into it. And then I started to study other illnesses and the explanation for like several things, cancers, and it just became, and the way that the way I am naturally, like if I get interested in something, I obsess and I stay up and I research and I learn every single thing about it, So, and I just couldn't keep it to myself because I know other people need this information.
Definitely. So did that also lead you into, becoming a medical student? Or was that something different?
It was actually something different. To be honest with you, I'm in the process of becoming a doctor because the original reason was I don't want to be broke.
True.
I don't want to be broke. I don't, the bus takes too long, and I I'm tired. I don't want to, and
MTA need to get it right,
and I'd
especially
like,
here.
and I'd like to have $500,000, and the type of doctor that I'm pursuing, that's how much. But that's what the salary would look like. But once I got into the spiritual side, and I realized that a lot of the surgeries you actually would not need, but this portion doesn't pay as much. But the reward spiritually is so much greater that I can fix somebody and talk to them and give them certain herbs, and they can now have children when they've been told that they would never. So it came after the fact, and we just live in this world that degrees mean everything.
They do.
If you
Well,
don't have
at least that's what they think.
right, that's what they say, right? So yeah, and that's pretty much how.
Because I feel like some of the most successful, especially women that I know, have no degree
At all.
besides high school diploma. That's it. And I'm like, what the fuck? Because I went and spent all this money on getting a degree, and they're probably making way more than me. So I'm kind of like,
Yeah. And I'm realizing you really have to do what you love.
Exactly.
You really like I've worked for several people, had several jobs, and worked, overtime, came in on days off, stayed late, and hated it. Thinking about the fact that I'm building your dream. But for myself, I can stay up all night and research. I can stay up all night and write this book. I can stay up all night, without getting any sleep for days, because I'm passionate about it.
But that's also probably part of that, like, healing aspect to do what you love and follow your dreams, because being stressed out, that's like even worse than having like no job, because then you have to also deal with those people day in and day out, like, okay, you want me to type a report, and meanwhile you're just like, I just want to write a damn book.
Okay.
That's what I want to do.
I just want to paint.
Exactly. Like, I admire people that are just like, yeah, I love making t-shirts, so that's what I'm doing. Because meanwhile I'm like, I guess I'll do this, but working on follow my dreams, working on it though.
Yeah, you are doing it.
So, okay, my next question. So, as a future medical doctor that you're in school for, how do you mesh that with the different things, like I know you do like things with like healing stones and like, well, I say stones, crystals, and like
Stones and crystals.
other things like that. Like, how do you mesh those two worlds together?
Well, honestly, my heart is in the spiritual. It really is. My heart is there. Like I said, a lot of the surgeries won't even be needed. I'm not just going for that. We'll be pursuing chiropractic, reflexology, as well as Reiki, crystal healing. So my dream is to have a wellness center that has all of those things.
Oh my gosh, I actually just talked to someone like a couple months about that, a wellness center.
Yeah.
Because I got certified in Reiki 1. So I'm hopefully going back in the fall to do the second level.
Yeah. So, honestly, at this point, I've just been in school for so long. It's like, you might, But that's just for people. Initially, it was for people to trust me. Because,
Yeah. People like to see those like labels
plaques
or
on
letters
the wall
behind your name that sometimes mean nothing. Because I've been to doctors and I'm like, she does not know what the hell she's talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm sure everyone has been to someone like that where it means nothing.
Absolutely nothing. Yeah.
So, tell me a little bit more about the book that you're working on.
The book that I'm working on it's almost finished. The date hopefully will be out completely, and there'll be like a party for it, August 15th.
We're claiming that August 15th.
August 15th. Bam, happening. So it's about, the title is Fibroids, Ovarian Cysts, and the Spiritual Explanations for Them. So the book, I talk about, of course, the Western medical side of it. And then I talk about the herbs that you can take to shrink them and to dissolve them, to get rid of them. The exercises, the yogas, the yoga positions that you can do. And then we get into the spiritual. And I challenge the reader to look within themselves and deal with those emotions, because we're taught to just say, I'm good, I'm good, I'm good.
Especially black women.
Oh, especially, right?
We're always like, yeah, my toe fell off, but I'm just gonna go to this shift, and then my next shift, and then take care of the kids, and I would just glue that back on.
And, the truth of the matter is, if you take care of yourself, you might get fired. If you really take care of yourself at the level that you're supposed to, you might actually end up losing your job. Because really, like, even for a woman to be on her cycle, that is really a time of rest. Nobody cares about that, though. Nobody cares about that. And some women really do have menstrual cycles where they literally are balled up like a fetus. And that's a problem. There's something spiritually going on there that needs to be fixed with that. But outside of all of that, you can't call your boss and say, well, I really,
Could you imagine that?
Oh, the way these cramps are right now.
They be like, I'll see you at 9.
Right. Like, or they'll say, everybody in here is probably on their cycle. I'm going to have to see you in 20 minutes.
And could you imagine? Because men really don't understand it. They'd be like, I'm on my cycle too, and I'm still here.
Yeah. Yeah. Really, though. So,
We were talking about your book.
I got so caught up on the pain. And that's the thing too. Like, I used to have really bad cycles. I don't anymore. It comes like clockwork. It's it's a wonderful time. So I talk about the astrological portion of that. It's very, very important. So certain zodiac signs will have certain health problems, and they can. And if you know that in advance, you can tackle that in advance. So I'm excited because my favorite people to work with are newborns, because I know what time, if I can get certain information from the mother about this baby, we can fix all of this. And the book talks about those things, just healing people, you know, and I really know for a fact that this book is going to change the world.
So was this like just a project that you started on your own, like personal time, or was it something in school that you did that kind of led you on to doing it?
A combination of the both. When I asked my doctor, because I knew something was wrong, I did not only have a second opinion, I had a third. And they all said, you're not a doctor yet. Calm your nerves. You know, chill out, you know. And I said, okay, all right. And I just went on with life, right? And then the fibroid that I had grew to the size of a 3-month pregnancy, 4-month pregnancy. Can you imagine? I gained weight everywhere. And I asked the doctor, I said, is there anything that I could have done? Like, is there any, like, my eating, like the way that I work out or the lack thereof, because I wasn't, you know. And I'm like, is there anything that I could have done? And she's like, no, they just happen. They don't just happen. Something, an outside force causes things. Like, you know, but how could this person with all of these degrees tell me this with such conviction? That can't possibly be true. So once I started, like I said, to fix myself, I had to write the book. I absolutely had to. And share it with other people. I can't wait to change lives with this book. Yeah.
August 15th. Claiming it now.
August 15th. August 15th, yes.
So, I read this quote that talked about, like, that we heal the past by living strictly in the present. So, how true do you think that is? And how do you, if you think it's true, how do you suggest that someone intentionally moves into the present?
I honestly don't think that that's completely true. I believe that a lot of our problems, and if we've ever studied like epigenetic science and learning that what happened with our grandmother, her depression can be on you, and you feeling these emotions and they don't even belong to you, you know? So in that case, that's the past, right? So a lot of the times we do have to heal our past. And the book also talks about using your ancestors and the power of them to be able to fix these
Do you want
problems.
to, because I know you have an event, so do you want to plug your event?
Yes, of course. Power Fridays, all about healing. We have our Power Circle. In order to know what the Power Circle is, you have to come. And every person that comes is a different person when they leave. It is a healing experience. You know, it really is. If you bring your crystals, bring your sage, you know, and just come and have a great time. Like, it's tomorrow, June 3rd. Hannah Lynn is featuring. I cannot wait to hear what, I know it's going to be amazing. I absolutely know it's going to be great. So yes, it's every first Friday of the month at New Bohemia. The address is 42 West Middle Street, Baltimore, Maryland, 21202. Shout out to J Rags, the owner.
And that's a black business,
Yes.
black-owned business.
Black-owned business. The admission is $10, and there's food. There's vegan-friendly food. It's just a great environment. And there's also an open mic too. You can come and do whatever, you know, you got whatever pieces you want to share. Come on out.
Thanks.
Thank you.